Evening all, we're back on. It's doubles and trebles. It's Thursday night. It's 8:30. So there's only one thing. We will be looking at the racing Saturday's action to follow from Doncaster, Newbury for the flat fans. And unfortunately, the flat season is coming to an end, which means Cheltenham makes a return. As you'll be aware, I've got absolutely no interest, but SD has Cheltenham all covered with some big prices, he tells me. So we'll be coming on to that. But firstly, we'll just have a nod to last week. It doesn't happen often, but it was a good day. Minzal ended up going off at 16-1 and getting a place. So anyone that backed that with a best odds firm was happy, like myself. Ishada, I put up to win without the favourite and went and won the bloody race. Sealaway won at 14-1 as advised in the champion, so I was pretty happy with that. And SD weighed in as well. He said Ishada would win, and she did at 16-1. And he also said Matthew Flinders would run well in the Balmoral, and so he did, because he got a place at 33-1. So we was quite happy with the performance last week. As SD alluded to, it had been a while between drinks. Ishada really has typified my season. Started pretty well, listed win early doors, 6 months off or 4 months off, and then wins basically on the last day of the season at a big price. So quite happy with that. There's 10 races on ITV this Saturday, ITV4 this Saturday. So we need to get cracking, SD. I'll be concentrating on Donny and Newbury, and you'll be hopefully giving winners in all 10 of the races. But firstly, how are you on this Thursday evening, young man?
Well, I'm awful.
Oh!
Awful. Terrible week. Do
you want to divulge quickly or not?
Well, there were some jobsworth in Manchester City Centre who saw it fit to fine me £120 for dropping a cigarette while old spice heads were around me. So, look, it's in the hands of the lawyers, so I can't say much. But, well, let's just say I hope he has a thoroughly unpleasant evening. Yeah. And if you're watching, get stuffed.
Right, back down to the serious action, SD. We're starting at Cheltenham with a conditional jockey's handicap hurdle, 16 runners, just over the 2 miles, 94 favourite, Samurai. Tell me where your money's going, because I have not got a clue.
It's not. Move on. It shouldn't be on the telly.
Right, okay, yep, no problem. So we're going straight past that. That's music to my ears, SD. I wish we could move on.
Well, conditional jockeys races shouldn't be on the telly. I'm sorry.
I thought you might have commented. It's quite a bit of a marathon on ITV, this ITV4. They're starting at 1:45 from Cheltenham, and then they're finishing at gone 4 o'clock at Donny. But anyway, on to Newbury.
Oh, God, that's a shift for Ed, isn't it?
Well, yeah, long shift for him, yeah. On to Newbury we go then. Heavy ground at Newbury, be warned. It's heavy, it might get worse, it won't be getting better. It's definitely heavy. 2 o'clock, we have got the Horace Hill Stakes, Group 3 for 2-year-olds. It's a no-bet race for me. I'll get that out there pretty early. But a nose was all that split market leaders Noble Truth, who's 2-1, and Hu Yamau, who's 3-1, when they last met at Doncaster in a listed race. Noble Truth has since finished second in the Group 1 on Arc Day with my each way money on that day. That was on heavy ground. This is heavy ground, so he appears to have every chance. But I thought that as many 2-year-old races in France, that was a bit of a funny race. It didn't look particularly great to me, so I wouldn't be getting carried away with Noble Truth. But I do think those two in this 9-runner field set a fair standard. I don't know whether you'll be putting any money on this race, SD, but I am not.
I'd agree. Look, Noble Truth, just to give you, I know we're not allowed, we have to be kind to people, don't we? But Noble Truth was basically 2 lengths in front of a horse of Stanmore in France, who, and Stanmore doesn't have many winners. Angel Blur runs in the Racing Post Trophy, or whatever it's called now.
Yep.
What beat Noble Truth? Look, I'll be honest with you. If it was better ground, I'd back Noble Truth. And that might sound stupid given he was second on heavy last time. But you're going to get funny results at Newbury on Saturday. So I'm certainly not going deep. Look, light infantry ran well first time up at headquarters in what looked a fair maiden. And there's a few others with a chance. Noble Truth is by far and away the most likely winner. Would I back him at 9-4 in that swamp? Would I, heck? Move on.
Good. Well, we're off to a flying start.
Well, I know we are, but I can only give you horses I'm backing, you see.
Yeah, well,
it's very difficult. Yes, it's very difficult to back a horse like that at that price on that ground. And Newbury, by the way, it is heavy. It's about as heavy as it'll get, but then You've a dry couple of days forecast. It'll be like an absolute glue pot.
Right, we're back at Cheltenham for the 220 handicap chase, 4-year-olds plus 14 runners. SD, I would be surprised if you haven't got a bet in this race, whereby it is 5-1 the field for Storm Control and one of your favourite trainers, Kerry Lee.
I don't mind Kerry Lee, lovely woman. It's a great title, isn't it? 888. What's your thinking? Handicap chase. Well,
what is your thinking?
I'll answer the question about 888. Grow a pair. They couldn't lay an egg. Anyway, there we go. I thought this was a good race, and I purposely set out not to get too involved at Cheltenham on Saturday, but I thought there were a couple of bets in here. Look, Cloth Cap could outclass these. He didn't take to the national fences, but some of his form last year, he's beating ASO doing handstands at Kelso. Was pretty darn good, and he could outclass him. I can't put you off at the price. He's a bet. He's not my main bet in the race, but he's a bet. And the other one to consider is Redford Road for the magnificent Nigel Twiston-Davies. What a bloke he is. He's a great sire of good people. He's been training for longer than I was alive. He's an absolutely lovely man. I do like Nigel Twiston-Davies. And this Redford Road, of course, won a Grade 2 over hurdles here. Not been quite so
a long
plain
time ago.
Sailing. Yeah. Well, it's not been quite so plain sailing since, but that is reflected in his handicap mark. I didn't think he ran a bad race in what used to be a very good race, of course, the Mandarin handicap chase at Newbury over Christmas last year. I didn't think he ran a bad race in that. He was only 13-2 for that off a mark of 137. He's down to 127. And to put a bit more icing on the cake, the lad's taking 3 off. He's only a 7-year-old. Let's write last year off, and at 25-28-1, with God knows how many places with certain bookmakers, I think you've got to back him at that. I didn't think he'd be anywhere near that price when I did the form. Put it like that.
So you're putting 2 up. Redford Road is 20-1, 5 places with you know who, and Cloth Cap. Are you going win only Cloth Cap, SD?
We'll go win only Cloth Cap. What's the best price? Redford Road in the Village.
The best price available is 25 with William Mill, 4 places.
I think that's your bet. We're not skimping on the win only bit. This is what Sly Bet want you to do, of course. Take the rubbish price, and
like Minzal,
the margins are there.
Where I'm putting Minzal up at 7-1, he goes off 16. I am learning my lesson.
Yeah, I gave some advice last week. If you read it back. Fred, great man, Fred, great balding man, always been bald. I gave a bit of advice. Back Matthew Flinders each way 7 places at SP with Fred. SP was 33. They'd hate you doing that. I don't know how many Fred employees are in the chat tonight, but they'll hate it. They'll hate it, but it's the most profitable way to do it. Just have your accounts lined up like little ducks.
Right, we're back to Newbury, 235 St Simon Stakes, over 1.5 miles. Group 3, this will be short and sweet. Siskany is on the up for me. He's significantly clear on ratings. He is a 3-year-old, so he gets a bit of a pull at the weights on the weight for age scale. Has a preference for softer ground, if you ask me. He is even money, but he's got a lot in his favour. I would certainly prefer to back him than the rest of them. There's only 7 runners, so the each way angle for punters like SD may be diminished. And I'll be putting Siskany up, and I'll also be putting him in a double with a horse that I'm going to mention later.
You're backing Siskany, even money.
Yeah,
God, man.
Yeah, but SD, you're talking to a man who last week put Snowfall up 1 point, win at 5-6, and she got stuffed. So I'm not worried about backing a couple of losers here and again. We'll make up for it with 14-1 winners like Sealaway. You're going to back. I can tell everyone, having not consulted you on this, you're going to back Max Vega in this race. Tell me I'm wrong.
No. Look, I think it's a very similar mantra to the first race. Can I be bothered at this time of year trying to work out if a horse that's been on the go since April might be over the top and might just not run its race on heavy ground? I can let even money shots like that go. He's by far and away the most likely winner, but would it surprise me if he was beaten? No. Am I bothering in the race? No. There's a bet at Newbury later on. We'll come to that later. So
I had you nailed on for backing Max Vega SD. I had you nailed.
Do you know what? I just can't see the point in parting with your hard-earned at short prices in a race where I think there's a chance. It's just, they will be strung out all over Berkshire, and I think there's better even money shots, and the variables are that the absolute guarantee of a swamp-like conditions, and Siskany's been on the go since April. Those two variables put me off. Well, and they put me off significantly.
Well, we've really delivered for the viewers tonight at Newbury. We've previewed two races. SD's no bet, and I'm no bet 11 to 10. So that that just shows the standard we're dealing at. But we've got a cracking national hunt race for you in the next one at Cheltenham SD, the 255. We're back to normal. We've got yourself a hurdle race for the 4-year-olds, and there's only 4 runners. This is why it is unlikely, very, very unlikely, that the Thursday previews will be continuing throughout the winter. Please enlighten me.
Well, I thought this was a betting race.
4 to 5 favourite?
Yeah, I mean, look, try Tony. The thing is with this Dovecote race at Kempton, it's happened a few times now. I don't know what it is about the race, but you think on the day, my God, I've just seen a bloody superstar. And the horse just never delivers after it. Now, Tritonic, okay, he was rated 97 on the flat. I think he was as high as 99.
99 is last run.
But he wouldn't necessarily think, you wouldn't think he'd win like that as he did at Kempton. I don't think he beat much at Kempton. There was a 200 to 1 short 5th, and that was borne out in the Triumph Hurdle. He's not run particularly well on the flat since, and I think he could bomb here. And we go back to the king of Cheltenham, Mr. Nigel Twiston Davis, who's got a race fit runner here, who I think he thinks quite a bit of. In I Like to Move It, who won very well at Worcester.
I expected a bit of a crescendo of breaking into song there when you said I like to move it.
I know.
Yeah, you've disappointed me.
I don't know. You're into all that gang rap culture, aren't you? Look, he's a race fit horse who I thought showed enough potential last year. He's a 3-time winner over hurdles, and you could probably get 7 to 2, 4 to 1 in the village. The other
9 to 2, 9 to 2 with Tabor's.
9 to 2 with who?
Tabor, Mr. Tabor.
Who's Mr. Tabor?
Oh, SD, a man of your betting knowledge. Bet Victor, come on.
I was going to say, is it Victor? Yeah. Look, if you can get a bet on with Victor, they did that lovely article on him in the Racing Post, didn't they, Victor? And his terribly hard life, He's not had a hard life. If you can get on at anything above 3 to 1, he's a bet. Stepney Causeway hasn't just a point actually on Stepney Causeway. Dan Skelton, you would think, would be roaring in the winners at this time of year, and his brother Harry, who doesn't drink, by the way. There's an interesting fact for the evening. But he's fun. He's 2 from 34 in the last 2 weeks. He's 6%. I thought he'd be somewhere near 30%. So it does put you off. They've got All Mankind running in, of course, in the old Roan at Aintree on Sunday as well. That puts me off. He's not had a run. I could see I Like to Move It for the wonderful Twiston Davis team, just running them into the ground here with race fitness and advantage.
Right, good. Well, we're on to the prop stuff now, SD. We've been on here an hour and a half on ITV4, and we're making a first visit to Doncaster for the final Group 1 of the flat season, the Racing Post Trophy, or what they like to call it now, the Vertem Futurity Trophy. I hate that name for some reason. We're going to be talking about trainer strike rates in a minute, no doubt, when you speak, SD. But Aidan O'Brien, as the favourite in this race nearly every year, is won it God knows how many times, from Camelot, St Nicholas Abbey, King's Barnes, Magna Graecia, Saxon Warrior, all sorts, and way beyond. But before my time, he's been winning this race. Luxembourg, he's odds on. He's in unfamiliar O'Brien territory, O'Brien colours, should I say, the colours you normally associate with him. I think it's the Westerberg colours or something like that. Someone in the chat will know. I thought he was impressive, this Luxembourg. He won his maiden pretty easily, and then he's gone on to the Group 2 Beresford Stakes at the Curragh and won that by over 4 lengths. I mean, it was just his second start. To me, he left the impression that there was much more to come. He had a high head carriage, swishing his tail a little bit. In the straight, scooted clear, just one tap from Shamey. He did veer across the track a little bit, but nothing too serious. I really, really like him. He could be a superstar next year. Yes, he is 5 to 6. And that leaves a question mark from a punting point of view, but he will be in my short price double. It's been a while since we've had a double on doubles and trebles, but Siskany and Luxembourg would be my double, SD. Firstly, what do you think of Luxembourg to start with? And to me, what do you think of the ones in behind as well? Because I think this is a pretty good renewal.
Well, just a note on this race, it was a great race, the Racing Post Trophy, as it'll always been known. I was there for Aidan's first win at Saratoga Springs 24 years ago.
Oh my
and who can forget Celtic Swing winning the race in 94? If you've not seen it, watch it on YouTube. It's an absolute delight. This race, actually, before I start telling you what's going to win, it was run on the Jim McGrath put a very good tweet up today, and I didn't know this. It was run on well, Big Jim, great man. I'm talking about Huddersfield Jim, the sage of Huddersfield. Anyway, it was run on the straight course from 2001 onwards.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the last 20 years, it's been run on the straight course, and that was just because of issues ongoing.
Yeah.
Now, it was originally ran on the round course from 1961 to give potential future stayers a chance to race around a bend. Now, what on earth is wrong with having a group race for 2-year-olds round a bend? I really can't figure out why they shouldn't run this on the round course. But I might get shot down for that. But
no, I'm learning
to me,
there, SD.
it makes sense. Does it not make sense?
Well,
have one group one round a bend.
Yeah,
let's
know
mix
that.
It up a bit.
I didn't know that, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, I think Philly's Cameron in this, but it's the only Group 1 for 2-year-olds over a mile in this country, and possibly in Ireland as well, if I'm not mistaken.
And what do stayers do? They run round a bend.
Yeah,
so
no,
I didn't
know it used to be ran on the round course. Despite I have watched Celtic Swing, I probably should have noticed, but you sent me the link some time ago. But yeah, interesting point. And
anyway,
when I'll kind of add to that point. When I first started in the game, the Racing Post Trophy was always not a Derby trial, but horses running well in it and winning it were Derby contenders. But particularly with O'Brien, he's turned it into almost a Guineas trial or a Guineas marker. You know, we've had the likes of Saint Nick ran in the Guineas and nearly killed himself. Camelot won this and won the Guineas. Magna Graecia won this, won the Guineas. Saxon Warrior won this and won the Guineas. Cameco, I think it was at Newcastle that year. But you know, you get the gist of it. It's kind of, what I'm saying is the last 10 years, it's very much changed from the Derby pointer to a Guineas pointer, if you ask me.
Yeah, and of course, Andrea Atzini won it 4 years in a row as well. Look, the case of Luxembourg is fairly simple, but I'll go back to the point earlier, and this is where I think you've lost your marbles a bit. When you go through the calendar and you look at races, and it might be a novice hurdle at Ludlow or whatever, you look and say, this horse is a 10 to 11 shot or whatever he is, because now he may well win. I'm not saying he won't win, but, he's not that far clear on form. He's run twice. We don't know how good he is. And if you're being picky, he only cost 150 grand and we don't know exactly how good he is. Look, we flagged this last week. Aidan's horses, a lot of them are not running well at the moment. And at that price, there's enough to crow at there with what I would class as a fairly high standard of opposition. You've got Royal Patronage. I'm not going to put him up as a bet. He beat Carobius, who I think's pretty good. But again, Johnston's operating. His last 2 weeks, he's 2 from 70. He's absolutely appalling. So let's just run these stats back again. And I know trainer form isn't everything, but at these prices, so the two coupled are near enough 2-1, just over 2-1. So they've had 125 runners between them, Johnston and Aiden.
Yep.
And they've had 5 winners.
In the last 2 weeks.
In the last couple of weeks. Now, that doesn't sit right to me. Look, Bayside Boy, I think you know how good he is. He'll probably run to a mark of between 112 and 115. Whether or not that's good enough, I don't know. And then you start looking at the rest, and the one I came down on was Sissoko. Now, Sissoko won his maiden very, very, very well at the Curragh. I mean, it was as easy as you like. He beat the right horse in second, Sun King, who'd run creditably before that. They were 5.5 lengths clear of the third. And Donegal may well get one over on his dad here. I thought he's 10-1 at an each-way price. He's a bet. Jim Bulger won the race last year, and McTeague
I looked at that.
Wouldn't surprise me if this thing ran well. Where's Kevin Manning, though? I don't know. Maybe he's at the old people's home.
Yeah, Rory Cleary's on that. Yeah, 33-1. Yeah, that's a good flag there. I mean, there's what is there? A dead 8 in the field, and three of them are from Ireland. I thought it was a decent renewal, SD. You've already flagged Royal Patronage and Bayside Boy, already Group 2 winners in their own right. I've landed on Imperial Fighter for the each-way bet. Thought he ran a really nice race behind Caribus last time. We both agree that Caribus is pretty good, as a lot of people out there do. There's no surprises there. Imperial Fighter was completely the opposite side of the track to Caribus at Newmarket. Looked a bit lazy when he kind of hit the front on his own going into the dip. I don't know whether he was unbalanced by the dip or just looked a bit lazy. I don't know when he hit the front, but finished comfortably in front of the rest that day, and I think could be suited by the flatter track here. I'd rather be with Imperial Fighter over Bayside and Royal Patronage, basically.
But just why do you think Imperial Fighter will beat Royal Patronage? Because there's 2 things saying he can't, apart from the trainer form, which we've alluded to. So Imperial Fighter was beat 2 lengths by Caribus last time, and of course Royal Patronage beat Caribus.
Did.
And Royal Patronage licked Imperial Fighter 2 1/4 the time before. So there's 2 things there saying, actually, Royal Patronage shouldn't beat Imperial Fighter. I just thought it was noteworthy.
He is double the price. And I think that the Caribus race that he didn't win against Royal Patronage was pretty different to the one that he did win against Imperial Fighter.
Okay, I don't necessarily disagree with you on that, because I think Johnston's are running like absolute drains.
And I don't disagree with you about Sissoko, to be honest. But I mean, it is a big step up from a 6-length maiden win to a Group 1. But that is obviously a signal of intent in itself for Donnecourt, who's been pretty quiet this season in his own right, to come over for the Group 1, and obviously putting one up against his dad wouldn't fit the bill of the team tactics that we all assume are in play.
He'd love to get one over on him, wouldn't he?
You're on Sissoko at 9 or 10-1, and I'm on Imperial Fighter each way at 7-1. That's where we're going with that one. We've got a couple to go at Cheltenham. First up being the 3:30. I'm a bit slow here, SD. We've got handicap chase 2 miles.
It's the subtitles handicap chase.
Is that what they used to call it?
No, 888. Never mind.
Oh, sorry. Go on. Right, yeah, go on. Right, 9 runners, 2 miles. Where you going?
Again, I did the form earlier. Look, if Sky Pirate's going to have to be pretty darn good to win off 159. There's a load of horses here on the first run back who'll either need it or aren't very well handicapped. The exception to that is this Before Midnight, who won so well. I think it was on National Day at Chepstow.
Another Tristan Davis mentioned for you here, ST.
Well, Sam Thomas, he was a good jockey as well. You know, I thought he got a bit of stick back in the day. He's just a progressive animal, I think, on reasonably decent ground, and I think he's probably still fairly treated off 136. I think 365 or 4-1. They certainly were when I backed him earlier.
Yes, they
and
are.
that's got a bog against it. I would have him clear favourite for this, and I think he'll win.
That's a standout best price 4-1 SD, and like you say, you're going to get best odds with that as a bit of an insurance policy.
And you get your ITV, whatever it's called, insurance, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah.
So when Midnight Fighter wins the 330, you can go and have your 4-1 plus free bet on the 350, which is a listed
No,
race.
you can't, because it won't be 4-1 then. So you back them both now, people, and then you get round it that way. There you go. I think that horse will go 5-2. I'll be that confident.
Oh yeah, back it now, yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Back it now.
Yeah,
You've got a bog with Denise,
and then it wins. You're going to get your free bet, and then you're going to put your free bet on the listed race at Doncaster, 350. Yeah, I thought this was difficult. It's for 2-year-olds over 6 furlongs. Half the field very much exposed, and the other half are just making their second start. Well, 3 of them are making the second start. I'll be taking on the exposed Fav, Flaming Rib for Tom Dascombe and Pierre-Louis Yamin. Recent wins at Chester and York can have a line. Can have Bob Marley can have a line drawn through them. Chester and York, we've said all year about them. Although, to be fair, his win at Chester was by over 3 lengths. The young jockey, whose name I've just butchered, can't use his claim in a listed race. So I'm taking a little bit of a flyer on a horse called Parisiac for Brian Smart, and another jockey that can't claim in this race, Gianluca Sanna. The reason for fancying Parisiac, I think he'll be underestimated in the market with those connections. He didn't make his debut until October the 6th and did all sorts wrong. He was the only debutant in a field of 8 at Nottingham. He ducked right out of the stalls, hung markedly left when he hit the front, and looked green throughout. But he was easily the last one off the bridle, this Parisiac, and was pretty much back on the bridle when he went past the finish line while the others were closing. Eldrick Jones was second in that race. He went off a touch of odds on. Sets a pretty decent standard as a 2-year-old yardstick, Eldrick Jones. He was rated 100 on that day, and that was his 8th start. And, Parisiac's managed to beat him. Eldrick Jones has since gone on to run a near career best at Newcastle earlier this week. Yes, he's got that inexperienced rider who can't claim, but that's factored into the price. Parisiac is 12-1. Now, the each way is only 2 places with 7 runners. Wouldn't be my normal idea of fun, but given that there is, the makeup of this race, I think it's probably worth doing. It would be Parisiac for me, SD. Please tell me you've got a bet in this.
No, but I'll tell you something. I laid Eldrick Jones that day.
Oh, good.
Eldrick Jones could beat. Yeah, I think Eldrick Jones is an absolute hound. Just a story about Moe.
He has got a genuine rating of 100. Like he's had 9 runs now to his name.
I think he's over the top.
Yeah, he's not a superstar.
Anyway,
but
just a word on Moe here, who can't win. Clive Cox. I was stood next to him at Wolverhampton when this horse won. He was absolutely delighted. He thought it couldn't win a race. I heard him mumbling to someone. And it's in a listed race, so there you go.
Which one's that,
Mohe. I was there when it beat. Well, I actually backed it that day. It won the nursery.
Right, fair enough.
So that's just a bit of insider knowledge. Look, there's not a bet in this. Am I? If I was having a bet, I'd probably back Deodar, but he's an awful lot to find, and the price is crap. So I'm not having a bet.
Yeah, Ryan Moore's riding second favourite Deodar, 11-4. Ralph Beckett on the only second start. But I just thought Parisiac. Just go back and watch that Parisiac, and he's done all sorts wrong, and was on the bridle for 90% of the race. I just thought he's going to be underestimated in the market, and I'm more than happy to take on the favourite. So.
The third that day got beat out of sight at Ponte on Monday. I mean, I just couldn't get excited about the 4. I can tell you what won't win.
Flaming Rib.
Well, no, yours. Yours won't win. Sorry.
Oh, good. Right, we're going on to what could be SD, the 4:05 at Cheltenham, the last race from Cheltenham on Saturday. This could be the trifecta rollover race. Now, I'm not plugging, but there's going to be a big trifecta rollover this week. It's the first time in my time that I've known it to be carried over from 2 weeks. There wasn't a rollover race last week at all. So SD and I will be playing when the race is confirmed. It might be this, so I'll be leaning heavily on SD to make the selections in a 15-runner handicap hurdle, a per temps hurdle series qualifier. SD, Tullybeg, the 4-1 favourite. Even I've heard of him. Where's your money going?
Not Tullybeck. I didn't think he was the best handicapped horse at all, but that could be proved wrong, of course. Where's my money going?
Yeah.
I have backed one in this at a massive price.
Oh, good.
And I thought, Tide Times.
Right.
There's one for you.
What price
Look,
is
he
that?
won a. Well, he's 28. He won at Ascot last year in what I thought was a reasonable race at the time.
Yep.
And he's reasonably handicapped on that. He's only £2 higher. He's relatively unexposed, and there's plenty in the form book, I think, to tell you that this horse is somewhat overpriced. Ian Williams aren't running too bad at the moment. He can have spells where he doesn't run, where they don't run well. He won his point on good ground. You could say he's a soft ground horse, but he won his point on good ground. And when I did the form, I didn't think he'd be anywhere near 28 to 1. I thought he'd be about 8 and 9. So he's the one I backed, and I've not backed anything else in the race. I thought the problem with this race is there's a lot of horses there's some making their seasonal debut. There's some who's dreadfully handicapped.
Yep.
And there's others who are summer jumpers and aren't good enough. So I preferred Tide Times at the prices, and what I would say was a spirited choice for you there.
You can get 25 to 1 each way, 5 places, SD. Or if you just want the 3 places and best odds, you can also have 25 to 1. So, whichever.
28 with Billy Hill, isn't it? Just take that.
It is with 4 places. We'll have your bets in the description as usual. Right, we're rattling on now. It's just gone 9 o'clock, and we've saved the best till last because I really quite fancy one in the 420, and I've got a suspicion that you may well agree with me. It's a 5 furlong handicap. Doncaster, just my type of race. And I thought Boundless Power looks standout value here to me. Better the weekend. Look, the winner a long way out at Ascot last time. That was on heavy ground. It's going to be soft ground at Doncaster at least. I thought he won with a fair bit in hand there. Before that, he was second in the Portland, which is over 5.5 furlongs at Doncaster, so a little bit further than that. And I think he was quite easily second. You put him up that day, I think, SD, and he finished behind Hurricane Ivor. That's good form. We know that's good form. I think he's getting better with age, just like his dad. I think he's solid as you like. You can back him each way if you want, but I'm going to be backing Boundless Power, straight win. And I think he's 6 to 1 best price, or something along them lines. He's my bet of the weekend, Boundless Power.
Well, he's not mine.
Oh.
Well, look, the horses he beat last time haven't done much for the form. If you look at the second, the third, the fourth, I think the fifth have all run since, and they've come 5th, 6th, 11th, and 6th.
It wasn't the best Class 2 handicap we've ever seen.
Well, yeah. So I didn't particularly rate the form.
He was good in the Portland, though, wasn't
he? He was good in the Portland, but he's 7-9 now, and I thought there were a couple of bets against him in this. So the first one is Illusionist.
Yep.
Trained by Grant Chur, and I'll tell you why he won. He shouldn't have won last time. York that day was basically built for prominent raced horses. It's marked in the Racing Post analysis. And this thing basically, he got absolutely butchered at the start. He was out with the washing and he won. He shouldn't have won. There was a massive track bias, and for that, he's only gone at 5, and I think he's a bet. He's relatively unexposed this year over 5. He likes a bit of dig in the ground, and I like him a lot. Now, the other one takes a little bit more explaining, and it's the stablemate of your thing, and it's Zim Baby. I think they've been running this thing over the wrong trip all year. I'm pretty sure he's better over 5. His last win was over 5 at Nottingham around this time last year, off a mark of 80. Okay, he's off 87, but they've been running it. As I say, he last ran over this trip. He was second at Catterick. And in 1, 2, 3, 6 runs since, he's been running over 6. Now, I'll read you the in-running comments. Wheaton gradually final furlong. No extra and lost second final strides. No Extra and Wheaton final 100 yards. And what do we have at Goodwood that day? Wheaton over 1 out. He very much runs like a 5 furlong horse.
I agree with you. Why has it took connections who know their way round the racing game? Why has it took them 5 or 6 starts to realise that 6 furlongs is a bad idea? It's basically, yes.
Well, maybe he was too high. I mean, he's never been rated. He was off 92 when this all started, and maybe they just want to land a touch with him. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, they've gone a long way about only losing £3 in his handicap mock at 5.
Well, it's gone down 5, hasn't it?
Yeah, so basically, we're like £1.2 per run.
I'm pretty sure he wants 5 furlongs on soft ground. That he gets, and the nice bit about this, you tell me, what's the best price in the village?
So we're looking at Zimbaby, 25 to 1, 4 places with Patrick and Bet Victor.
If you can get on with Patrick, I've not been able to get on with Patrick for years, but luckily there's a betting shop. You have to ring your mate, don't you, for that? Yeah. Or I go in the betting shop. But anyway, that's a decent bet.
So you're putting up 2 in that then. Illusionist
yes.
is 6 to 1, the 5 places, and Zimbaby is 25 to 1, the 4 places. All will be detailed in the description. Right, that's 10 races absolutely blasted through there. I really like Boundless Power in the last. That'll be in the description below. SD, take me around the world. Did you say you had one at Newbury? And where are you going this Saturday?
Look, it's great up at Kelso. Absolutely lovely place. The forecast is fair. I'll come on to Kelso in a bit. Absolutely wonderful track. I'd much rather go there than anyone else. I'll be doing the 3-hour drive, or you can do it in 2 hours 46 minutes, as I did the other week. Up to Kelso, lovely place. And they do very nice Scotch pies.
Any bets at Kelso?
There's 3 at Kelso, but I'll just take you through the one at Newbury.
Right, go on then. What time?
Look, it's in the Radley Stake, so that's the 3:10. And I thought it was a rubbish race for a listed contest, and I thought Breeze Easy had the form to win or go close. So I'd be prepared to back Breeze Easy each way at the 17-2 offered by Billy Hill. I thought Jumbly was a crap price, to be honest.
I can't say I've looked at the race, SD, but
yes. Yeah. So we'll have David Evans having a rare listed winner. And then we're off up to Kelso, great place. First bet at Kelso is Chapel Style, who's the rag in the Edinburgh Gin Chase. That's a 3:19, Class 2. This look, he's fairly handicapped on his win last year at Carlisle. He doesn't necessarily need to have a bog. He's won on good ground before. His trainer has had an absolutely rotten son of Nicky Richards, but he's fired in 2 winners at Carlisle today. And I thought this race was again littered with badly handicapped horses, or horses making their seasonal debuts, or horses that need further. And Chapel Style was very much the exception to that rule, although he is making his state seasonal debut. So Chapel Style will win that. Yeah, good. Yeah, got it. 17-2.
Got it.
Next one is Curramore in the 3:54. I cannot have that Sandy Thompson can't improve this horse. He's had it for 2 runs, and okay, he's not done much with it. But when Lucy normally packed up, who I don't think was the best trainer, if Sandy Thompson can't improve this horse another few pounds, I mean, I'm in the wrong game. I'd be surprised if he didn't win and go off significantly shorter. I'll have a look at him in the paddock, but I'm pretty sure he'll win this Curramore.
And I think
I think he's pretty well weighted, and he's probably the bet of the weekend. And then the final bet, and I want to go SP only on this, because when this horse wins, he tends to drift. They're not gambling. 4:29.
Yep.
Vengo de Guise put up at 10s with Hills. He absolutely routed them in this race a couple of years ago. I remember being there.
I was probably there that day.
You weren't there. He's got a really good record at Kelso. He's come down in the handicap. I mean, the handicap is so nice. He came second last time. they've dropped him another pound. But as I say, he tends to drift when he wins. I've absolutely no idea why this phenomenon happens. They're just not a gambling set of owners.
Well, if you did want to back it, it's 10-1 now. I mean, we're not going to turn our nose up at 10-1 winners, SD. If you
I wouldn't be surprised if he went off 14, and he'll be the suggestion in that race. So there you go. There's around the world with SD this week.
Like it. And I would say that if I could pick anywhere to go racing this weekend, it would be Kelso. Even over Doncaster, even though it's flat. But Kelso, one of the best.
I offered you a lift.
You did. I just can't get the 6 hours in the car. I've got I've got other priorities in my family life at the moment, unfortunately. But
you're very, very left wing.
Oh, I am.
You can't even go to Aintree on Sunday. Call yourself a racing
I don't
fan.
want to go to Aintree on Sunday. Thank you very much. If it was A-Dog on Sunday, I'll be there. But I don't want to go to.
I'll be at Aintree. I'll be at Aintree on Sunday. Countryside Day on Sunday. The Haydock Reciprocal Day. Nice to see all the members from Haydock. So well served they are.
Right, let's wrap it up. I honestly don't know if we'll be back for the jump season. Because I've really got no interest. But please do, in the comments, let us know if you've enjoyed what SD and I have delivered. I think we've been on 27 of the last 28 Thursdays. Not all of them, SD, but certainly the last 10 or 15. So yeah, thanks for your support.
We've delivered a profit, haven't we?
Well,
I think
yes,
we can say that.
Yes, no, we can definitely say that. I'll tell you exactly what's been spent so far. On my singles, I've spent, I think it was 99 points. I'll put it in the description, but it's we've definitely shown a profit. Yeah, that's right, SD. So
it's always good for a profit. You can put it to all your Christmas funds and all that, or just lump it all on Chantry House for the King George people.
Chantry House, right, there you go. A bit of an anti-post look there for SD as well. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We've got people in the chat as always. Brendan, Berkey's in there. We had Joe Wall earlier on. He said that he's taking on the Fav with Bayside Boy. Hoping the mile brings out a bit of improvement. That's what Joe Wall said. We had Hump in there earlier as well. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back soon. Cheers.
Good evening.
Right, I think that's done.